everyone ready?
This is the SEC Insider Hit. Presented by your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Go local. Go with a home team.
Woo! Good morning. Welcome in on a Meltdown Monday, brought to you by the amazing beer Stella Artois. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. I do have to give a game ball to the Florida Gators. That was a big win. I know we're going to get into Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Florida needed that. They did. And they took it to Tennessee. You know what's funny? And I told Jason this so he can, and it's on my phone. I'm not going to show my text, but I was texting Chris Doring with the SEC Network on Friday, and hey, he's a Florida Gator alum. How do you feel? He said, we're going to win because we're going to dominate on defense. The Tennessee offense isn't good. And people haven't recognized that because guys just take from what they hear and then they just regurgitate it at happy hour. It's just how we are, right? What dumbs us down more than anything else as guys, sports and women. So, he just, and then he kind of went into it, via text. And I thought, okay, and Florida dominated Tennessee. They needed that win. And, hey, Tennessee lost two phenomenal wide receivers and a guy named Hendon Hooker. It just doesn't happen. But that was a big win for Gator Nation. Now, am I telling you that they're like a top 10 team? No. But they did what they needed to do, and they physically whipped Tennessee. So LSU physically whipped Mississippi State, and the Dog fans are not happy. And so we're going to have to unpack that. Ole Miss did not play well early, and they turned it on in the second half and played a lot better against a bad Georgia Tech team. Some people got upset on my Twitter feed at Bo Bounds. I called them Salami Tech. Whatever. Roast Beef State. But it's a win. And now it gets real for Ole Miss, and it continues to get real for Mississippi State. This is a big, big weekend for Zach Arnett. I think it's about a 55% chance. I give South Carolina. That may be too low after this weekend, but I don't want to totally overreact. I'm going to go with 55% to 45% Mississippi State. But I reserve the right to change that in 5 minutes or tomorrow's show or Thursday's show or whatever. So anyway, I'd like to hear from you. We are the Out of Bounds Show. Steve Robertson will join us in an hour, and we'll continue to look at the where the program is and where it's going. Zach Arnett has a very, very difficult task ahead because he's trying to replace a ghost, trying to replace a guy who runs the program, and it's not in a binder. Jason, it's just in between his ears. He's a genius. He was on the spectrum. He's a genius. He won with less. And I said this over and over again. I guess people didn't want to listen to me. That team last year had no business winning 8 regular season games and 9 with a bowl game. And it's a credit to Leach and his genius and so on. The offense wasn't really good last year, and the defense wasn't really good last year. The offense finished 71st in offensive scoring efficiency, and the defense finished 72nd in defensive scoring efficiency. So then you ask, well, in the SEC West, how did they win? How did they win those games? Because of Leach's genius. It's a mystery. You can't explain it. I know we all want answers, especially now that we've got Google, the internet, and our iPhones in our hand, and 600 access to 600 channels on TV. We want the answers. And guess what? And this is hard for us to wrap our brain around in life. Sometimes there is no answer. It just is. So I'm not trying to go zen or, philosophical on you on a Monday, but you can't explain it. And so let's go back to what happened in Starkville. We are the Out of Bounds Show, your SEC Insider Hit this morning. is brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your car and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. You got agents everywhere. They're right in your backyard. They'll take care of you. Bundle your car and home. Save. Favrates.com. That's F-A-V-E. Favrates.com. Favrates.com. Steve Robertson will join us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. So my game ball goes to Florida. Okay. Alabama looked awful, but they decided to play Buckner and Simpson at quarterback, and they held a lot of players. Did you notice that? Some of you did, some of you didn't. They held a lot of players. So we'll see. And then Ole Miss won. Auburn won. Arkansas did not win. I watched a good bit of that game.
Woof.
Georgia won, but South Carolina gave them all they wanted for a long time. Credit to Spencer Rattler. His offensive coordinator's not any good, but, man, that guy played his bells off. Wowzers. And he's a guy that can what? Extend a play, has mobility, make something out of nothing, which takes me to what's happening at Mississippi State right now. And I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna ruffle some feathers, and then some people are gonna get it, or maybe just let it marinate and digest over the next few hours. Although we're not good at that anymore. We won't. Give me a hey, and I want your reaction to the weekend on the Ag Up Equipment text line. 601-885-3776. If there's anything really good, Jason, earmark it, and we'll hit it in a minute. But I got some thoughts. All right. Will Rogers did an amazing job at quarterback at Mississippi State the last 3 years. He did.
Yeah.
He was thrown into the fire as a true freshman. He answered the bell because he's a competitor and he's smart. And because of Leach's genius, and Will had an amazing coach from the time he was 5 years old, and he's smart, and he's a hard worker, it worked. It did. It worked. And kudos to Will and Mike Leach and others around Will for it to work.
For real.
It's time to flip the script. This is a big boy. There were millions and millions and millions of dollars running through Starkville, Mississippi this weekend, Thursday through Sunday. This is a big-time business. Seats between the 40s, club level, boxes, suites, they cost money. It's time to flip the script. You got to see more Mike Wright, a guy who can make stuff happen when the table's not perfect. I'll never forget Dan Mullen telling me at Turquoise Place years ago as we were having a beverage. This is years ago. May have been the year after maybe it was the year after he won the Gator Bowl. We were sitting there on the balcony, and he said, you know, the only way to win in Starkville is to play 11 on 11 on offense. He said, people gave me a hard time about making Chris Relf our quarterback. And he said, you know, it was pretty obvious to me and I guess his staff at that time on what they needed to do. They needed to have somebody that when the table wasn't set, that could make something happen. When the play breaks down, could make something happen and could hurt teams with mobility in their legs. And you're going to have to give up Mike Wright more of a shot to play at quarterback. Now, I'm not telling you that Mike Wright's going to come in and you're going to look great. Because it looks, I think you're going, it would be like asking you or me, let's say you don't know Chinese, the language.
Okay.
But it would be like somebody coming to Jason and I after the show today. All right. And telling us by Thursday afternoon, when you get on a plane, both of your jobs are on the line, and you're going into a meeting, and you have to be fluent in Chinese. Not know a few words. You have to be fluent in Chinese by this Thursday afternoon. That's what's happening in Starkville, and I know I'm wrong because I have to have a lot of opinions. but we're right sometimes too. And nobody runs the pure air raid. So I saw some posts both on my text line and on message boards over the weekend. There's no going back to running the pure air raid. You can run air raid concepts, which they have done the last couple of weeks. Some of you would argue not enough. That's fine. I'm not going to get into that. There only one man on the planet of 7.5 billion people ran the pure air raid. And nobody runs the pure air raid in high school. They don't. Or college or the NFL. There's one man that's ever run the pure air raid, and his name is Mike Leach. And unfortunately, he's no longer with us. So, those are now, we kind of beat up on the offense. What's going on with the defense at Mississippi State? So you got Crumity, you got Pickering, you got DeCamerion, you got Russell, you've got Jet, you got Bookie, you got, Preston, all these guys and more. What's going on the defensive side of the football? Jaden Daniels is a nice player. You made Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors look like Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Malik Neighbors was targeted 13 times and had 13 catches and averaged over 18 yards per catch.
Ridiculous. I mean, Zach Arnett said before the season started in training camp, he said the most concerning part is the DBs, the secondary. Is there going to be an answer anytime soon?
I don't know. That's a great question. Do I believe that there's more talent? Do I think that they're better than what they showed? Absolutely.
Gotta be.
I mean, yeah.
They have to be.
I mean, even if it's just a bunch of complementary pieces and solid SEC players, I would think you're better. I cannot believe they can't get off blocks. I can't believe they can't cover it all. I mean, if I would have been in the south of France drinking Bordeaux all weekend and not around a TV, and Jason would have called me after the game and said, LSU won, I'm not going to be surprised.
Right.
And Malik Neighbors had 9 catches for 120 yards. Okay. Fine.
Good for him.
But if I was in the south of France this weekend drinking amazing Bordeaux with my beautiful wife, which I wasn't, but I had a great time with friends in Starkville, and it was a beautiful weekend. And Jason, I mean, I'm sitting here and you're searching for answers because you've got all this experience. Did anybody get better in the offseason? The defense looks slow. They at all 3 levels. Whatever.
Yeah.
Front, linebackers, and the back end. They look slow. I mean, this is a reactionary, quick twitch, pin your ears back, bells to the wall game. And again, I'm not saying that Jaden Daniels shouldn't have a good day and Malik Neighbors shouldn't have a good day. But did anybody show up? I showed up. I was making Tito's Vodka Bloody Marys in the box. I don't know what else you want from me.
You did your part.
I did my. Now, the students, I was impressed. They're out there, and it wasn't as hot as it could have been. I'm not saying it wasn't warm. And I'm sure some of them stayed out late, including possibly my kids. But the student section was loud. Jason was there.
Yeah,
They were loud. The fans showed up. I know that it's going to be, I tried to say this for 8 months. It was going to be a big learning curve for Arnett. It'd be a big learning curve for you listening, for Jason, for Bo Bounds, for anybody down in Beagle Bagel right now. It'd be a huge learning curve. However, got to be more competitive than that.
Of course.
So this is a big week. I know it's a big weekend for Ole Miss. I'm going to get to Ole Miss in a second. I have some thoughts. I watched that game. Ole Miss played well in the second half. Didn't just kind of, Georgia Tech had every opportunity to score for a while, driving the ball, and they're not any good. But I'll get in that game in a minute. So where does that leave you? Well, I don't think you can play any worse. I may be wrong, but I don't think you can play any worse. I don't think that I'm not here to tell you that Arnett can't get it done. He does understand the recruiting piece. He does understand, kind of the Mississippi State, DNA, blueprint. He does have a vision. He did walk into a very difficult situation. That's an understatement. I thought that was glossed over by a lot of people. Didn't understand that, but I hit it time and time. Other shows and other platforms didn't. I hit it. Y'all got tired of me talking about it in February, April, June, July, and even through August. But I think you're going to have to get some mobility and athleticism at the quarterback position. And you're going to have to, I don't know, it's Tuesdays that are the big practice in college.
Right.
I think you're going to have a competition Tuesday. Everybody's job's open, even the super seniors and seniors. And I'm not kidding. It's not just something to be done. Everybody's job is open. And I know you can't go full speed a lot during the season. Oh, but I'd go a good 60 minutes. And maybe not full contact, but you know how it is. You can rev that thing up to 90% and guys are out there getting after it. But I would have a competition Tuesday. I know Pete Carroll used to do it at Southern Cal, but that was back when he had all the talent. And I don't mean to be mean. Yeah. A guy could roll an ankle and they just went, you come on the field.
4-star, come
right,
here.
Right. Okay, different deal. But I think you got to have, I think everybody's job is open, even the super seniors and seniors.
Wow.
That's my opinion.
That's saying something.
I'd like your reaction. Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776. I don't think it's quite DEFCON 1 in Starkville because guess what? I expected Zach Arnett and Mississippi State to be 2-1. I just didn't expect it to look like it did.
Right. Okay.
So Zach's not off schedule.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Everybody, he's not off schedule. He needs to win in Columbia, and they are the underdog by 4.5, and they should be the underdog. And I think the rosters are pretty even. And by the way, congratulations to Stone Blanton from MRA, who's playing some good football for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Real quick, Mississippi State should be an underdog. It is a winnable game, but the difference in the game is that South Carolina has a playmaker at quarterback.
Very true. And he continued to show it against what some seem to be the best defense in the country.
Well, Georgia still has dudes.
Yeah.
On defense. I know they're trying to figure it out on offense. They still have dudes on defense. And you knew what they were going to do eventually. Spencer Rattler, I mean, he did everything he could do for South Carolina except fly the plane in and out. I mean, the guy was, and he doesn't have a good offensive coordinator, and so it's all on him. It's a winnable game. I think you should be an underdog. I actually think it should be more than 4.5. But, maybe, Jason, I'm thinking more 5.5, 6, but we'll see. All right, let's switch gears to Ole Miss. Ole Miss played Georgia Tech Saturday night. That was the Wilderness Trail Bourbon game. Have you tried Wilderness Trail Bourbon? It's our new bourbon on the show. And, yes, they're affiliated with Wild Turkey. And, yes, it's delicious, delicious bourbon. And they have the wheated bourbon and the rye and the straight rye. And it just got 97 out of 100 points. And it's amazing. Ooh. So and Jason tasted some of it. We're going to have a couple of tastings this fall. And I'd love for some of y'all to join us at our local partners. And even up here, we need to have a Wilderness Trail bourbon tasting. But the steak and bourbon game was Saturday night, and I know it was Tennessee and Florida, but Ole Miss played, and it's an in-state school, and they played Vaught Hemingway, and they showed up, and there was some back and forth for a little while, and then Ole Miss shut the door in the fourth quarter and won big. Ole Miss is yet to be, I take that back. Tulane and Georgia Tech tested Ole Miss for a chunk of the game. But there was never a moment in the Georgia Tech Ole Miss game where I thought Ole Miss was in danger of losing the game. So although they may not have been up as much as some Ole Miss fans wanted them to be, I did not think that they were in jeopardy of losing the game ever. Dart I don't think Dart needs to take the hits he's taking. It doesn't make any sense against this level of play, knowing that you're so much better. He is a playmaker. He has mobility. He's got a good arm. You know, He doesn't have an Elijah Moore. He doesn't have a DeMarcus Lodge. I'm not even go with the top guys.
Or Quincy Adebayo.
He doesn't have an Adebayo or even a core. But we'll see what Wade and Watkins and Harris when he comes back.
If we ever get to see Franklin.
And Franklin, if he comes back, although asking him to come back this weekend and and have some kind of, tremendous impact, I think is a stretch.
Yeah. Prescorn. I mean, they said that Prescorn was supposed to be out a couple weeks whenever he got injured. So I just wonder when we'll see him back, because that's obviously, he was a huge part of Dart's go-to.
It may be LSU, but he may play this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app and the zone1059.com. That's brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook and Lounge and award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, dancingrabbitgolf.com. We'll be there Thursday. Looking forward to that. We'll be at I was going to say the Sportsbook. We're going to be at Dancing Rabbit Clubhouse Thursday, which will be a lot of fun. It feels great outside, man.
Dude, it was 59 when I woke up.
So I walked outside and I did my grounding, bare feet. I didn't have a shirt on. Talking about Rip City. And I had some shorts on. And I was waiting for the coffee to be made. So I was on the lakeside. And it was dang near chilly, but it felt good. I had my kind of Zen moment.
Of course.
And it was fabulous. I don't know what it was at that time, but it was 60 once I started, pedaling here on my bike. And I came in hot on two wheels. But, man, that's good weather, man. That's I know it's getting warmer during the day, but we're getting close to like red beans and rice, a good bourbon drink, Wilderness Trail bourbon, and even better times on the grill and outside. And I can't wait. So, yeah, Ole Miss did what they needed to do. And they were too much for Haynes King in that offense. And then, of course, Dart and Quinshawn and Watkins got his first touchdown reception. They did what they need to do. But Ole Miss hasn't played anybody. Tulane is very well coached, but they haven't played anybody with any kind of, real talent. So that changes this 3-game stretch at Bama, LSU at home, Arkansas at home. Which, by the way, the Molly Ringwalds are playing at the Lyric Friday of the LSU game.
I forgot about that.
Molly Ringwalds. You better get your tickets now. I talked to Richard Greenlee. Molly Ringwalds at the Lyric Friday before LSU, which is not this weekend but next.
Of course, yeah.
It's here. But I hope you had a good weekend. I had a great weekend. I got to spend time with friends and family. And it was a beautiful weekend. And Wendy and I had a blast. It was also good to get home and sit out on the back porch over the water and chill and watch a lot of Red Zone. And how about Dak Prescott? My man played some good football yesterday, didn't he? That New York Jets defense is for real. That is a physical front, man. We are the Out of Bounds Show, and we're powered by Farm Bureau Insurance. Bundle your car and home and save with your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent.